I just want to be happy. Is that too much to ask? Nobody tells you about happiness. It's the only thing we're all chasing, but none of us can define. Ask someone what they want in life, and eventually, after they list the job, the house, the relationship, it all comes down to this. I just want to be happy. Last time we talked, I shared how we're all on this journey of becoming. How life isn't about reaching some final destination. It's about constantly evolving, returning to ourselves as better versions each time. But today, I need to tell you something that kept me up last night. Something that might sound contradictory, but it's the truth we've been avoiding. That happiness you're trying to become your way toward. The joy you think you'll find once you achieve enough, earn enough, become enough. You can't get there through achievement. And realizing that might be the most important transformation of all. Welcome back to The Quiet Search. This is episode 2, and today we're unraveling the question that keeps you scrolling at 3 a.m. What is happiness really? And why does it keep slipping through your fingers no matter how hard you try? You've done the things you thought would make you happy. Checked the boxes, hit the milestones, got the thing you wanted. And for a moment, it felt right. Then that feeling faded and you found yourself asking, is this it? You've bought things hoping they'd fill something. The upgrade that was supposed to make everything easier. The purchase that was going to change how you felt about yourself. And here's what nobody expected. Every time you got the thing you thought would complete you, there was this moment, maybe a day, maybe a week, where it felt right. Then your brain whispered, okay, but what's next? You lie awake at 3 a.m. scrolling through other people's lives, comparing your messy middle to their polished highlight reel, wondering what you're missing, what instruction manual everyone else got that you somehow didn't receive. And maybe you've felt this. That sense that happiness is a club everyone's in except you. That everyone else figured out the secret and you're just pretending you know it too. Here's what took years to understand. You're not broken. You're not ungrateful. You're not doing it wrong. The problem isn't you. It's what we've been taught about happiness itself. So today, let's figure this out together. Not as someone who has it all figured out, but as someone who's been where you are, who's still there some days, and who's discovered that the happiness we're chasing was designed to be uncatchable. By the end of this conversation, you'll have something real, something you can use tonight. Not vague advice like, just be grateful, that makes you feel guilty for feeling bad. Real understanding, real practices. Let's begin. Okay, so here's something your brain does. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's called hedonic adaptation. Here's how it works, and this will explain everything. Think about something you really wanted. Maybe it was a car, a promotion, moving out of your parents' house, finally affording the apartment with the good view. Doesn't matter what it was. Remember how much you wanted it, how you'd think about it before falling asleep, how you'd plan for it, how you told yourself, once I get that, everything will be different. So you work for it, save for it, stress about it, and finally, you get it. And for one beautiful moment, it feels exactly like you thought it would. Then a week passes, maybe a month, and that thing you wanted so badly, it just becomes normal. The new car becomes just how you get to work. The promotion becomes just another set of responsibilities. The apartment with the view becomes the place where you still feel anxious on Sunday nights. Same thing, same you, but your brain literally rewires itself to treat extraordinary as ordinary. You know that first smartphone you got? Remember that feeling? The internet in your pocket, maps that knew where you were, a camera that actually worked. It felt like science fiction. Now, it's just another thing you have to remember to charge. Your brain did that. Not because it hates you, because that's how it keeps you striving, seeking, surviving. And there's actual research on this. Scientists studied lottery winners, people who won millions of dollars overnight. They tracked them for a year, and guess what they found? 1 year later, lottery winners reported being roughly as happy as they were before they won millions of dollars, life-changing money. And after 12 months, they adapted back to their baseline. The same study looked at people who became paraplegics in accidents. 1 year later, they too had returned to roughly their baseline happiness. Millions gained. Mobility lost. Same adaptation. Your brain doesn't care about your circumstances nearly as much as you think it does. It only cares about changes in circumstances. And every change, no matter how dramatic, becomes the new normal. So, here's what this means. Your brain isn't broken for doing this. It's extraordinarily good at its job. It's just that its job isn't to make you happy. Its job is to keep you alive. And in the ancient world, contentment was dangerous. Think about your ancestors for a moment. For 150,000 years, humans lived with constant immediate physical danger, predators, starvation, harsh winters, rival tribes. If they were content with their cave, they'd never look for a safer one. If they were satisfied with enough food, they'd never store extra. If they were comfortable, they'd never innovate. Anxiety kept them alert. Dissatisfaction kept them searching. Fear kept them alive. The ancestors who could relax. They didn't make it. The anxious ones survived. The worried ones had children. The restless ones thrived. And you? You're their descendant. Now, fast forward to today. You wake up in climate-controlled shelter. You have access to more information than all of human history combined. You can communicate instantly with someone on the other side of the planet. You have antibiotics, indoor plumbing, food delivery. You have more comfort and safety than kings had 200 years ago. But your brain is still scanning for threats. Except now the threats are an email from your boss sent at 10 p.m. with no context. A text that ends with, "We need to talk." The rent increase notice. The comment on your post that got 47 likes when everyone else gets hundreds. That thing you said 3 years ago at a party that still makes you cringe at random moments. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between a charging predator and a passive-aggressive message. Same cortisol spike, same stress response, same fight-or-flight activation. Except the predator would have been over in 30 seconds. The work anxiety lasts all week. You're not failing at happiness. You're succeeding at a survival mechanism that no longer matches your reality. You're running software designed for the savannah in a world of suburbs and smartphones. No wonder it feels like something's broken. Nothing's broken. You're just built for a different game than the one you're playing. Let me tell you about dopamine. And this is important because everyone gets it wrong. Dopamine is not the happiness chemical. It's the wanting chemical, the anticipation chemical, the maybe this time chemical. There's a famous experiment from the 1950s. Neuroscientist James Olds put rats in a cage with a lever. When they pressed it, it released dopamine directly into their brain's reward center. The rats pressed it compulsively. They ignored food. They ignored water. They ignored mating opportunities. They chose the lever over survival itself. They pressed it until they died. Sound familiar? Check your phone. How many times today have you checked it without even thinking about it? Reaching for it becomes automatic, a reflex, a compulsion. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain releases dopamine when you anticipate something pleasurable, not when you receive it. The dopamine spike happens before you get the thing, not after. So you scroll social media, dopamine spike. You post something and wait for likes, dopamine spike. The likes come in, dopamine crash. You check your email, dopamine spike. The email is boring, crash. You buy something online, dopamine spike. The package arrives, mild pleasure, then crash. This is called reward prediction error. Your brain predicted pleasure, delivered dopamine in advance as motivation, then reality failed to match the fantasy. And this is why achievement always feels hollow. That promotion you worked years for, your brain was high on the anticipation. When you got it, dopamine crashed, and suddenly it's just responsibilities and stress. That relationship you thought would complete you? Dopamine was highest during the chase. Once you had it, your brain moved on to the next thing to want. You're not addicted to pleasure. You're addicted to the pursuit of pleasure, and modern life has weaponized this against you. Every app is designed to trigger dopamine without delivering satisfaction. Every algorithm is optimized to keep you wanting, seeking, scrolling. Every advertisement promises completion through consumption. You're not weak for falling for it. You're up against a trillion-dollar industry that's reverse-engineered your neurochemistry. But here's what gives hope. Once you understand the game, you can stop playing it the way they want you to. There's something psychologists discovered that changes how you see everything. You have two selves, and they almost never agree. The first self is your narrative self. This is the story you tell about who you are, your autobiography, your identity, your goals. This is the character you're trying to play in the story you're writing about your life. The second self is your experiential self. This is what you're actually feeling right now, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this moment. Not the story about the moment itself. And here's the cruel part. We spend our entire lives living for the narrative self while ignoring the experiential self. Daniel Kahneman won a Nobel Prize studying this. He found that your memory of an experience has almost nothing to do with the actual experience. Your narrative self remembers the peak moment and the ending. Your experiential self lived every minute. But you make decisions based on the story, not the experience. Think about this. Your narrative self says you should be at that networking event. This is how careers are built. Your experiential self is exhausted, overstimulated, wanting to go home and read. The narrative self wins. You stay. You're miserable the whole time, but later you tell yourself it was good for your career. Your narrative self says you'll be happy when you're successful. Your experiential self is anxious while being successful. Your narrative self says you need the relationship to be complete. Your experiential self sometimes feels suffocated in the relationship. Your narrative self says achievement brings fulfillment. Your experiential self feels empty after achieving. We sacrifice the experience for the story every single day. You're not living 365 days a year. You're living one day, 365 times, while telling yourself a story about a future that never comes. You know what's absurd? Humans are the only species that can be stressed about being stressed. Dogs don't lie awake thinking, am I anxious enough about that thing tomorrow? Cats don't worry that they're not worrying correctly. Only humans invented meta-anxiety. We're anxious. Then we're anxious about being anxious. Then we're anxious about being anxious about being anxious. We're also the only species that can be bored with paradise. Give a human unlimited food, safety, comfort, and entertainment, and within weeks, they'll be complaining about Wi-Fi speed. We've achieved what every ancestor dreamed of, and we're miserable about achieving it. We're not depressed because we have problems. We're depressed because we don't have the problems we evolved to solve. Your brain is designed to hunt for food, you have DoorDash. Find shelter, you have climate control. Avoid predators, you have security systems. Connect with tribe, you have 847 Instagram followers you've never met. Every survival mechanism is being triggered by problems it wasn't designed for. Your anxiety isn't irrational. It's just aimed at the wrong targets. Your brain is a smoke alarm going off because you burned toast when it was designed to detect house fires. Same alarm, wrong problem. So if circumstances don't matter much and dopamine keeps us chasing and we're living in stories instead of actual experiences, what works? Because this isn't just about understanding what's broken. It's about knowing what actually creates lasting well-being. A psychologist named Sonia Lyubomirsky spent decades researching happiness. She analyzed hundreds of studies and found something that changes everything. Happiness breaks down like this. 50% is your genetic set point, your baseline temperament. Some people are naturally more optimistic, some more melancholic. This is largely genetic. 10%, just 10%, is your circumstances. Your job, your house, your relationship status, your income above basic needs. 40% is intentional activity, what you choose to do with your attention and actions. Only 10% is circumstances, that promotion, that relationship, that apartment. 10%. 40% is what you do with your mind, and that's actually the most hopeful thing you can learn, because you can't always change your circumstances, but you can work with your mind. Not through toxic positivity, not through forcing gratitude, through understanding how your psychology actually works and working with it instead of against it. Let me introduce you to something that helps more than anything else. It's called psychological flexibility. And before you think this is some abstract concept, let me explain what it actually means. Psychological flexibility is your ability to feel uncomfortable emotions without letting them control you. It's the opposite of what most of us do, which is experiential avoidance. Experiential avoidance is trying to escape, suppress, or control your uncomfortable thoughts and feelings. Think about the last time you felt really anxious. What did you do? Probably tried to make it go away immediately. Scrolled your phone, ate something, worked more, watched something, did anything to not feel it. But here's what decades of research shows. The more you try to suppress an emotion, the stronger it becomes. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Eventually you get tired. And when you do, it explodes to the surface with even more force than if you just let it float. Psychological flexibility is different. It's saying, I feel anxious right now. This is uncomfortable. And I can still do what matters to me. Not, I shouldn't feel this way. Not, what's wrong with me? Not, I need to fix this immediately. Just, this is what's here right now. This is hard, and I can be with this. And the research on this is overwhelming. People who develop psychological flexibility have better mental health, stronger relationships, greater life satisfaction, more resilience to stress, better physical health. Not because their lives are easier, because they've stopped fighting reality and started responding to it. They've let go of the rope in a tug of war they don't need to win. Here's something practical you can try tonight. But first, you need to understand why it works, so it doesn't feel like random self-help advice. When you try to suppress an emotion, let's say anxiety, here's what happens in your brain. Your amygdala, your brain's alarm system, stays activated. It keeps firing stress signals throughout your body. Your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, burns enormous amounts of energy trying to push the feeling down. This increases cortisol, weakens your immune system, disrupts sleep, and ironically, makes the emotion stronger when it resurfaces later. It's like putting a lid on a boiling pot. The pressure just builds. But when you allow the emotion without fighting it, something different happens. The amygdala activates, reaches its natural peak, and then decreases, usually within 90 seconds to 20 minutes. Your nervous system completes what's called the stress cycle. It processes the emotion and returns to baseline. You just have to stop interrupting it. So here's what to try. Call it the 90-second feel-through. Next time you feel anxious, sad, angry, frustrated, whatever difficult emotion shows up, instead of running from it, try this. Step 1. Name it specifically. Say to yourself, this is anxiety, or this is sadness. Not, I am anxious, but this is anxiety. That small distinction creates space between you and the feeling. You're not the anxiety. You're the person experiencing anxiety. Research shows that just naming an emotion reduces activity in your amygdala by up to 50%. Step 2. Find it in your body. Where do you actually feel it? Is it tightness in your chest? A knot in your stomach? Tension in your shoulders? Heat in your face? Get specific. Get curious about the sensation itself. Step 3. Describe the sensation. What's it like? Is it tight or loose? Heavy or light? Hot or cold? Sharp or dull? Moving or still? The more specific you get, the less your mind can spiral into stories about it. Step 4. Breathe into it. Not to make it go away, just to be present with it. Take slow, deep breaths and imagine breathing into that sensation, like you're giving it space instead of trying to shrink it. Step 5. Set a timer for 90 seconds. This is important. Emotions have a biological lifespan of about 90 seconds to 20 minutes when you don't resist them or create stories about them. Set a timer. Watch it. Step 6. Just observe. Don't ask, why do I feel this way? Don't analyze it. Don't judge it. Just watch it the way you'd watch clouds passing across the sky. Here's what happens when you actually do this. The emotion moves through so much faster than when you fight it. It doesn't own you. It's just weather passing through. Your nervous system knows how to process emotions. You've just been interrupting the process your whole life by trying to control it. This isn't about feeling better immediately. This is about building your capacity to be with difficulty. And that capacity, that's resilience. That's freedom. Here's another practice. Use this multiple times a day. At first, it might seem too simple to work, but it does. Every single time. Call it the 5-4-3-2-1 reset. Use it whenever you notice your mind spiraling into worry about the future or ruminating about the past. It takes 2 minutes. Name 5 things you can see right now. Look around. What's actually here? The lamp, the wall, your hands, the window, your coffee mug. Name 4 things you can physically touch. Feel the chair you're sitting on, the fabric against your skin, the ground under your feet, the air on your face. Name 3 things you can hear. Really listen. What's happening in this moment? Traffic, your breath, the hum of electronics, silence. Name 2 things you can smell, even if it's subtle. The coffee, your soap, fresh air, or nothing. Name one thing you can taste. From your last meal, your mouth. Could be nothing. That's okay. That's it. And here's what's happening. Your brain has two main networks. The default mode network activates when your mind wanders. This is when you're ruminating, worrying, planning, regretting. This network is associated with anxiety and depression. The task-positive network activates when you focus on immediate sensory experience, when you're engaged with what's actually happening right now. The 5-4-3-2-1 reset pulls you out of the default mode network and anchors you in the task-positive network. You're telling your nervous system, there's no threat right now, we're safe, we can settle, and your body responds. Use this in bathrooms before difficult conversations. Use this when you wake up anxious. Use this in your car before walking into work. It doesn't solve everything, but it brings you back to now. And now is the only place life actually happens. Let me share something unexpected. One of the most powerful ways to feel better has nothing to do with getting what you want. It has to do with contributing to others. And there's real neuroscience here. When you witness someone else in pain, mirror neurons in your brain fire as if you're experiencing that pain yourself. This is empathy at the neural level. It's automatic. You can't turn it off. And when you help someone, even in a small way, your brain releases oxytocin. This reduces cortisol, lowers blood pressure, activates reward centers, and makes you feel genuinely better. Not because you're being noble, because you're a social organism and your nervous system knows that connection equals survival. Notice this pattern. On days when you're completely focused on your own problems, spiraling in your own head, you feel worse. But on days when you help someone, even just listening to a friend without trying to fix them, or helping a neighbor carry groceries, or genuinely asking someone how they're doing, something shifts. Your problems don't disappear. They just get smaller because you're part of something larger than your own story. Studies show that people who volunteer regularly have lower rates of depression, better physical health, longer lifespans, greater life satisfaction. Not because their lives are easier, because their attention is directed outward instead of constantly inward. So here's something to try. Once a week, help someone with absolutely no expectation of anything in return. It doesn't have to be big. Send a thoughtful text to someone who's going through something hard. Actually listen when someone's talking instead of waiting for your turn to speak. Help a colleague with something they're stuck on. Pay for the coffee of the person behind you. Leave an encouraging comment for someone instead of scrolling past. Just once a week. And notice what happens. Notice how your nervous system responds to contribution versus consumption. Because happiness isn't just something you feel. It's something you create by being useful to the people around you. Here's something honest about social media. It's eroding our peace. Your brain has this ancient mechanism for social comparison. It's evolutionary. We needed to know where we ranked in the tribe to survive. But that was designed for maybe 150 people, not 5 billion people showing you their highlight reels. Studies show that time spent on social media correlates directly with increased anxiety, depression, and feeling like you're falling behind. Not because you're weak, because you're comparing your messy, ordinary Tuesday to everyone else's carefully edited best moments. Their vacation photo isn't their life. Their success post isn't their struggle. Their smile isn't their internal state. Here's the pattern. You'll see someone's achievement and suddenly feel like you're not doing enough. You'll see someone's body and suddenly feel inadequate in your own. You'll see someone's relationship and suddenly question your own contentment. But here's what changes everything. Comparison only hurts when you're comparing outcomes. When you compare process, how people think, how they approach challenges, what they had to overcome, comparison becomes learning. The question isn't, why don't I have what they have? It's, what can I learn from their journey? One triggers envy, the other triggers growth. So here's what helps. Set a 20-minute daily limit on social media. When the timer goes off, you're done. And unfollow anyone who makes you feel worse about yourself. Not because they're bad people, because your nervous system deserves protection from constant comparison. Start following people who share the struggle, not just the success. People who show the process, not just the trophy. Try it for 1 week, just 1 week with boundaries around social media. And notice how your internal state changes when you're not constantly measuring yourself against impossible standards. Notice how much time you suddenly have. Notice how much quieter your mind becomes. There's something that needs to be said. You're not behind. There's this invisible timeline everyone seems to follow. Graduate by 22, career established by 25, married by 30, house by 35, kids before 40. And if you're not hitting these markers, it feels like you're failing at life. But here's the truth. That timeline is completely arbitrary. It's not biology, it's not psychology, it's not even based on data. It's just a story that got repeated enough times that it started feeling like law. Everyone around you seems to have it figured out. Career, relationship, life plan. While you're still trying to figure out what you actually want. Still changing your mind, still starting over, still uncertain. It feels like running a race where everyone else had a head start. But then you learn something. Colonel Sanders founded KFC at 62. Vera Wang entered fashion design at 40. Alan Rickman got his first movie role at 46. Julia Child wrote her first cookbook at 50. Your timeline is your timeline. Not because you're behind, because you're on a different path, learning different lessons, becoming a different version of yourself. What if you decided right now that you're exactly where you need to be? Not settling, not giving up on growth, just refusing to measure your worth against someone else's ruler. Because the moment you start comparing timelines, you lose. Not the race, your peace. Here's something that will sound backwards. The people who are actually content don't talk about being happy, they talk about being interested. Ask a genuinely fulfilled person about their life, and they won't say, "I'm so happy." They'll say, "I'm working on this fascinating problem," or "I'm learning this strange thing," or "I'm helping with this project." Happiness isn't a feeling you chase. It's a side effect of being absorbed in something meaningful. The happiest people aren't happy because they figured out how to be happy. They're happy because they forgot to monitor whether they were happy. They got too interested in something outside themselves. Think about the last time you felt genuinely good. Not after achieving something, not after buying something, not after being validated by someone. Probably you were absorbed in something. A conversation where you lost track of time. A project where hours vanished. A moment where you forgot yourself completely. That's what happiness actually is. Not a destination you reach. A byproduct of forgetting you were searching for it. You know what's been discovered? Most of your suffering isn't about what's actually happening. It's about what you're thinking about what's happening. The future you're worried about? It doesn't exist yet. It's a simulation. The past you're replaying? It's already gone. It's a memory. All you actually have is this breath, this heartbeat, this moment. And usually, not always, but usually, in this actual moment, you're okay. The room you're in is safe. You're breathing. You're alive. It's the story about tomorrow that's terrifying. It's the regret about yesterday that's painful. But this moment, usually manageable. Try checking in with yourself throughout the day, not with your thoughts about your experience, with your actual experience. Right now, am I safe? Right now, am I breathing? Right now, what am I actually feeling? And the answer is almost always, this moment is okay. It's the projection into the future or the rumination about the past that creates most of the suffering. This moment is all that's ever real. The rest is story. All right, let me bring this all together into something you can actually do. Here's a simple 30-day practice. Not because 30 days will fix everything, but because small practices, repeated daily, literally rewire your brain. That's not motivation, that's neuroscience. Every morning, 5 minutes before your phone, take 10 conscious breaths. Do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 reset to anchor yourself in the present. Ask yourself, what actually matters to me today? Not what's urgent. What matters? Throughout the day, as needed. When difficult emotions show up, use the 90-second feel-through. Label it, locate it, describe it, breathe into it, observe it. Let your nervous system complete the cycle. Social media boundaries daily. Set a 20-minute limit. When it goes off, stop. Unfollow accounts that trigger comparison. Follow people who share process and struggle. Once a week. Help someone with no expectation of return. Notice how contribution affects your state. Let your mirror neurons and oxytocin do their work. Every evening, 5 minutes. Write down one difficult moment from today. Write 3 different ways you could interpret what it meant. Notice how meaning shifts with perspective. That's it. Not complicated, not hours of meditation, not a complete life overhaul. Just small, consistent practices that work with your brain instead of against it. Before we close, this needs to be said, and you need to really hear this. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're not behind. You're not too sensitive, too anxious, too much, or not enough. You're human, and being human means feeling everything. Sadness and joy, confusion and clarity, anxiety and peace, doubt and confidence, fear and excitement. All of it at once sometimes. That's not pathology, that's life. Everyone you see who looks like they have it figured out is struggling too. They're confused too. They're making it up as they go too. They're questioning their choices too. They're just better at hiding it. Or they've stopped trying to hide it and found peace in that honesty. What if we all stopped pretending? What if we admitted that being human is hard for everyone? That nobody actually knows what they're doing? That we're all just trying our best with imperfect information? What if that's not just okay? What if that's the whole point? So tonight, try something different. Instead of scrolling before bed, do this. Feel whatever you're feeling. Don't try to fix it. Don't fight it. Don't judge it. Just let it be there. Let it move through you like weather. Let it teach you what it came to teach. And tomorrow, when someone asks how you are, consider telling them the truth. Not fine, not busy, not can't complain. Try the actual truth. I'm figuring it out. I'm somewhere between lost and found. I'm human, so it's complicated. And watch what happens. Watch how the performance drops away. Watch how connection replaces it. Watch how relief replaces pressure. That's where happiness actually lives. Not in the achievement, in the honesty, not in the perfection. In the permission to be imperfect, not in the destination. in the acceptance that we're all just traveling. You don't need to be happy all the time. You need to be real, to be present, to be kind to yourself, to be connected to others, to be useful when you can, to be growing when you're ready, and maybe, in moments when you stop trying so hard, happiness will visit. Not as a permanent state, just as a moment passing through, reminding you that you're doing better than you think. Take a breath, feel what you feel, stop apologizing for being alive. You're not sad because you're failing, you're sad because you're feeling. And feeling means you're here, means you're aware, means you're growing. Being alive, even when it's hard, is better than being numb. Confused is better than falsely certain. Real is better than performed. Human is better than perfect. If something in this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear they're not alone. Sometimes one conversation becomes the turning point someone needed. Leave a comment and tell me, what were you doing the last time you felt genuinely at peace? Not happy, not excited, just okay with exactly where you were. Your answer might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. This is the quiet search, and the search continues. Not for constant happiness, for truth, for connection, for meaning, for the courage to be exactly who you are. Until next time, stop chasing happiness. Start practicing presence. One conscious moment at a time.